You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sarah, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer. Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about the struggle to be consistent. Heather, this is a struggle for me. This week we read 6 Tips for People Who Struggle with Consistency, published in Psychology Today, 2025. The first point in the article is that consistency is a tool, not a test.
Right.
This makes me think, when I read this, I thought, I definitely do that to myself and make it a test.
Right.
And
you set yourself up.
Yeah, maybe sometimes a tool, but a lot of times it's like I'm testing myself.
Right.
But when you think of that, what do you think it means? A tool, not a test?
I think if you can see it as kind of a preventative, if you're consistent with something, then it's not about the outcome. It's whether you did it consistently. Like, for instance, if you're trying to start a new routine, right? And you're trying to go to the gym, every day or something like that. If you can just be consistent with it and see it as okay, once I start this pattern, I'll get in a groove, and you'll see it as like a tool to get you motivated, then you'll have more success. If you see it as a test of I have to do it every day. If you miss a day because you're tired or whatever reason, and you see it as a test, it gets in your way.
You saying that makes me think about using the scale.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
A scale is not a tool.
Right.
Right. But a scale does become, for a lot of people, a test. Sure. So when you step on it, it's like either I passed, yay, or I failed.
Right.
I'm mad at myself.
Yeah. Black and white.
So then that's kind of how I'm thinking about consistency as a tool versus a test. That the test is, oh, I succeeded, or oh, I failed, and I'm upset with myself. Recently, using a scale, realized that the scale was not calibrated.
Oh, no.
So it was a test that wasn't even very fair. It was rigged.
Right. It's a rigged test.
So whoever used it was automatically going to realize or think I failed. I failed. Sometimes I weigh kids at the office and I think about, I really am careful to make sure that my scale is working appropriately.
Right.
So because it is just a test. So if that kind of thing is a test, then what is the tool?
Yeah, I think a tool can be about the mindset, right? Like having the right outlook in it. A lot of times with consistency, we're talking about setting up either a pattern or a new behavior, or reminding yourself to do something.
I think that kind of makes me think about infrastructure, our next point.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a tool, and the scale is an example of a test, that it's not the scale itself, like weighing yourself, isn't helping you, right? It's either
it's just giving you data.
Right. So if we're trying to create a tool or find a tool that helps us to be consistent, what do you use a planner or some kind of calendar?
I use a calendar, and I do put
Are we talking a thing on the wall that has 30 days on it?
I have transitioned, Sarah. It's been a hard transition for me. But I did give up my written planner.
Yeah.
Now, under times of super stress, I'll still write out my week, if things are not in their normal places. But yeah, I set reminders on my phone for things that you probably would find pretty funny.
Like what?
When we first got our little dog, I had to remember that she can't get out the dog door. So I literally would set a reminder 2 minutes before I was going to leave for work to make sure I took her out, because I've lived with dogs my entire life and have never had one that I have to open the door.
It just wasn't part of the routine.
Yeah.
I like the way that I use a calendar, and I'm thinking about all the teen clients I've seen and how they use or misuse
a calendar.
But I think I remember, what is that, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade is when teachers are really trying to help you.
Planner.
Yeah. My school district gave everybody this planner and the teachers instructed you on how to write in every single day, every single class,
Right.
which drove me bananas because I didn't like
Right. Put it in your planner. No.
the way they used it just didn't make sense to me.
For your brain.
It wasn't very
Right.
practical to me. It wasn't reminding me of the things I needed to be reminded of.
Mm-hmm.
So I hated that, but now I do it for myself.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Can you imagine if you didn't have
No.
a calendar at all?
No, I can't. Like, I have things on my calendar that are just like reminders. I'll remind myself to like change an air filter and
Yeah,
like, you know, stuff like that. That's
yeah.
just like, I'm putting it 6 months out. If I didn't
Yeah.
have that, it would never get done.
Right. I think maybe, I don't know if this is unique to counselors or not, or just people who have a schedule that's hour by hour.
Oh, sure.
What
You
if
just,
you
like,
just
sit
didn't
here.
have a calendar?
Right. You
What,
just walk in. I'll just see whoever shows up today.
Right. Oh gosh, can you imagine? I mean, actually, I was talking to a supervisee about this week.
Okay.
I just thought of this. I've forgotten that we talked about this earlier this week. She was saying that she has gotten to a point where her schedule is where she wants it to be. She has enough clients that she feels comfortable. And I asked her if her electronic health record keeping system has the feature that would allow people to schedule
themselves or not. Yeah.
And she said it did. And I asked, do you use it? And her answer was that she aspired to get to the point where she would use that.
Right.
And I said, well, I asked because I'm interested about your perspective, but also I'm challenging myself to think about it. I never intend to use that feature.
Right.
I don't want to use that at all.
No, I don't want anybody to be able to schedule on my calendar without going through me. And maybe that's...
What are your reasons?
There's too many things that pop up on my calendar. There's too many things that I might add or might change, just because I don't know what will be happening. Like, I don't know if the calendar, like, I might add something to pick up a kid somewhere, or like add like...
Well, you can block things off, right? I think that's what you could, but I was telling her, and I told her, and I think about supervision this way. I told her that as much as I hope that she would learn from me, I want to learn from her. So I was kind of pushing myself and thinking maybe this is like an old school way of thinking and I'm not comfortable with technology. But I told her part of my reasoning is I know the ins and outs of the sessions that I have and the clients that I see.
Yes.
And if just by accident, my 4 most intense clients scheduled each
same
themselves
day,
all back to back.
Right. It's exhausting.
Oh, I mean, I want to spread those out on purpose so that I can give each one of them enough focus and energy. Or maybe I think, you're right. There's 1,000 different things that I do during the day that I want to be able to manage. What if I, on my calendar available to clients, had all of Wednesday afternoon available, and kind of last minute, someone, a dietitian or a psychiatrist wants to call and ask me a question, and I say, sure, call me at 3. Oh, shoot.
Never mind.
Someone just scheduled
that. Yeah.
It makes it
more chaos.
Makes it way more challenging. And I told her that, thinking about using my calendar as a tool, that it also helps me when I'm thinking about maybe clients that are losing motivation or becoming less consistent.
Right.
If I have given the client all of the responsibility of remembering or managing or booking it themselves, that if I'm not really paying attention, it might go a week or 2 before I realize, I haven't seen them in a while.
Right. Where are they? Yeah.
And I said, even for myself, if I'm trying to schedule like a dentist appointment or getting the dog groomed.
Oh yeah.
I have been planning on getting the dog groomed and making that appointment for like 3 weeks now. And I still haven't done it.
But it's on you.
And I talked to my supervisee about this like 2 days ago and gave her that example, and I still haven't done it. So if it's totally up to me and it's even something I want to do and care about, I might not get it done right away. So my clients, I think, are just as likely to do that. I can't imagine, and not having all of the tools that I use to keep me consistent. That I have my calendar that I schedule my clients on. Right. But I also have my personal calendar that I keep things like doctor's appointments or hair appointments or something. That if I didn't always have that ready, it would be. I don't know how I'd keep track of it.
It'd be really hard. It would be really hard.
So a tool, creating consistency as a version of a tool and not just did I succeed or fail
Right.
is point number one.
Mm-hmm.
Point number two, infrastructure. When I read this too, I thought, can we start with defining infrastructure? I feel
Sure.
like we say that word a
And then we
lot.
just kind of
Yeah,
go
what do
past
you
it.
think it means?
Kind of your model or your plan, your scaffolding,
That's what
maybe.
I was,
Yeah.
scaffolding. That I was thinking like the guidelines, rules,
Right.
organization around you.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be what's an example of infrastructure?
Um,
Automated emails
yes, that's a great one, actually.
that they come.
Right. They
Oh,
happen. They're just there.
right. So like I don't know, like the water bill or the phone
Right.
bill, I just get an automated email, and
Right.
that's how I know how to do it. And if I didn't get the automated email,
Right.
I probably wouldn't. It's not like on the top of my brain that I
Mm-hmm.
think about it all the time. So
Right.
it's there, and that's my reminder.
Do you know, I get an email. So I have this one bill that I have that I get an email that says it's about like your bill's due in whatever,
Mhm,
7 days or
mhm.
something, but it's on auto draft. So it's going to
Yeah,
auto. And so
yeah.
it's like, it's good to know that. And I like to see it that it just happened and then I'm aware of it.
Mhm.
But like, truthfully, I like will forget that I even have that out there
Yeah,
because it's just on like an
yeah,
auto, like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, I need to like actually look at that email for a second.
yeah,
How much do I still owe? What do I want?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. I do the dentist that way.
Oh yeah.
Every time
There's
I don't like going to the dentist, but every time I'm there, they ask me to reschedule, and I'm like, just put it 6 months out. And really, what I'm doing is I don't fully intend to do it just
Right.
whenever they scheduled me, but when I get the reminder,
Then you could schedule
then I'm
what
like,
is happening in your
oh,
life now.
yeah, it's that time again. So now I'm
Right.
gonna find a
Right.
day in the next week or
Mm-hmm.
two where I can get in.
Mm-hmm.
But if they didn't send me that,
Right.
I'd forget. Do you have things that you do in supervision or counseling that provide you infrastructure?
I can't think of an exact supervision one, but I do with counseling have like an auto like reminder for
Mm-hmm.
my clients get an auto like reminder that's set up through a system I use, but like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so they get that. But then I think I also kind of do some things, not with all my clients, but with some of my clients that maybe have kind of like a journal, I might give them a journaling prompt or something that's a little bit more directive. I will put a note in there to remind myself to bring it up in their next
Oh,
session
that's
because
useful.
I won't remember who
Yeah.
I told what. And if it's
Yeah.
been 2 weeks, well,
Yeah. Right.
but it's more about me trying to like manage the like I said this so that it's
Mm-hmm.
a kind of
Mm-hmm.
a flag for me.
I have a problem with my infrastructure. My electronic health record keeping system,
Yeah.
also like yours,
Right.
sends out an automated
Right.
email, but some of the time.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
No.
Mm.
And I don't know what the issue is. It's not me because it's
Mhm.
automated, but my clients will tell me, I didn't get a reminder this week.
And you're like, oh,
And I thought,
okay.
I don't know what, and I mean, it usually prompts them to reach out to me
Right.
directly, which I guess isn't a bad thing. But maybe, for example, they're used to seeing their automated
That's what reminds them.
reminder
That's
the day
their, yeah.
before,
Mhm.
and when they didn't get it, their thought process is maybe Sarah's out of town,
Right.
or
Or
maybe
if they're every other week, they're like, oh, wait, I thought it was this week. It must be next
right,
week.
yeah,
Like it just easily to
yeah.
forget.
So bad when your infrastructure
Yes. It
isn't
doesn't help.
working or isn't consistent. But maybe I think I could definitely benefit from more infrastructure
Mhm.
around my supervision, or maybe sometimes counseling, not as much counseling.
Yeah.
I think I could I would be better if I had more infrastructure around double checking my supervisees meeting their expectations or goals.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That would
Like,
help.
all of mine keep track of their requirements that they're trying to meet.
Right.
That could be trainings, number of hours of supervision, or number of hours of experience. They keep track of that using spreadsheets that we
Sure.
share. But I am not awesome at making sure that they're on top of it.
Right. Like, when's the last time you input your.
Mm-hmm. And I do ask,
Yeah.
but maybe I should put a reminder in my calendar that
Check
tells,
hours this week or whatever
right.
it is. Yeah.
I don't know how often would you put it in there as a reminder? Every week, every other?
Probably once a month as
Yeah.
far as that kind of stuff goes. Like to
Mhm.
talk about kind of the basics of like hours and
Mhm.
what requirements they needed to hit.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe I will do that. Maybe like the first week of the month.
Yeah, just have like,
I
oh, it's the
ask
first week we
everybody.
do this. I
Mhm.
worked at a place where we'd see kiddos. So it's like we saw 3 kid sessions and then we'd have like a family session. And that structure of doing that was great for like some families that really worked. But if you have a family that you're working with that has anyone that travels or
Yeah.
like has a job that maybe is a longer shift or something like that, it's really hard for those people to have like a solid infrastructure that lasts a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might be
Mm-hmm.
able to do it for two
Yeah.
weeks at a time, but not.
I don't know. Maybe this is just how I'm feeling right now with the parents of the kids that I'm seeing. I have families that are doing the opposite, that they
Oh.
are in need of more
Right?
contact, and I am definitely in touch with them more than
Hmm.
just once a month or once every 3 weeks. And that gets a little bit tricky
Right.
because then I start going, I feel like I just talked to you,
Right.
and but it's been on my calendar, it says it's been
Says,
three
right, but
weeks.
it feels
So then
like,
do I adjust and
right,
say, well, 3 weeks from the point where I talked to you, then it
right.
gets tricky. It
It
gets
does get
like
tricky.
too complicated to keep
Yeah.
up with all of those different changing
Mm-hmm. A lot of pieces,
touch
a lot of
points.
moving parts.
Hmm. So maybe I will think of some ways that I can increase my infrastructure to support
Just to support it. Yeah.
being consistent. The last point in the article was frequency of consistency comes first, volume and intensity of consistency comes second.
Okay.
So, can you think of some examples of that where the frequency is more important or is like the first step? And once you've kind of mastered or gotten that, then you move on to volume and intensity.
Mm-hmm. I think about like again, kind of going back to starting a new habit or like a new routine that like at first it's just about did you do it? Right? Did you show
Mm.
up? Did you
Mm-hmm.
did you make it to the gym? And then after you're consistent with it, it can increase like your intensity. Oh, you know what? I could actually do 4 times now, or I could do 5 times now. And the amount of times you go and the amount of times that it is normal in your
Yeah.
routine,
I don't know. That's hard for me.
is it?
That
That
example
example's hard?
is tricky. So, like I like to work out and go to the gym. If my expectation is I'm just going to go once a week and I'm just going to start and do once a week because I have to go in the morning
Oh,
for
because of work.
work.
Yeah.
If I only do it once a week, the pattern of consistency
Will
that I've
not work.
created,
Right.
the pattern of consistency that I've actually created is sleeping in late.
Right, right. That's the new pattern, not the going to the gym,
And then
right?
it's really hard
Right,
to go that one
right.
time. But
Mhm.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, I have to think about that. That now, right now, I'm kind of on this kick where I've just told myself,
Mhm.
if I only go once a week, I'm not getting up. That
Right.
one day a week, I'm
You're
going to
not doing
convince
it.
myself
Yeah.
that the bed feels really
Right.
comfy.
You know what? It's cloudy out.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to drive in the
Yeah,
clouds.
I definitely do that. I'm like, I didn't sleep that great last night. I'm gonna sleep longer. That I'm better if I get up 5 days a week and do it.
Yeah. Maybe that just
But
works.
maybe that is the frequency, and
Right.
then my volume and intensity is how hard I work
Right. Right. That
or
comes
how
next.
much I get done
Right.
while I'm something like that.
Yeah. And maybe that can also translate to some
What if,
counseling stuff with,
yeah, what if the goal was reading?
sure.
And I think I'd like to read more. So even if I only read like a chapter,
Right.
I have done this. Even right now I'm trying to do this actually. Maybe I'm really working on consistency
You
personally.
didn't even know.
I didn't. I would like to read more, and I told myself I'm going to start out with just something kind of fluffy and fun.
Right. An easy read.
Yeah. And it's okay with me if I just read like a chapter.
Right.
Even if the
Just
chapters are
because you're
short,
increasing
just
your
like
time.
something.
Right.
But I'm going to try and do a little bit every day. And even if it's just kind of a fluffy, fun book
Hmm.
and it's just a short amount,
Right.
that then maybe I could get myself to the point where I'm reading like heavier, more dense work-related things
Mhm.
consistently.
Right.
That would be
Maybe.
like the
That'd be-
intensity
yep.
or the volume.
Yeah.
How could you relate that to counseling or supervision?
I think with supervision, you could do it in a way. So I like at the beginning when someone is brand new to supervision, I kind of have like a routine, like a day. Like
Mhm.
Thursday's your day, and you're going to be at this time. Like this is
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
get.
yeah.
But obviously, it happens a lot in counseling. Like they may need to shift supervision to take on a client, or they may
Sure.
need to move something based on something else in their life. So I think at first I'm pretty strict. I don't know if that's the fair word.
Yeah,
Like
firm.
we're not changing this for a
Mhm.
while until we get comfortable with each other. And then I notice that like I may back off a little bit of like it having to be the same, but I think the volume of intensity comes up where like the sessions they're deeper. They're not just like showing up and like this is supervision. It's like, okay, so that client we talked, I'm like following up with like maybe a hard case they had and being a little bit more directive.
Yeah.
As they
So
get
in the beginning,
right.
Consistency, and also that you're being clear with your expectations on purpose.
Right.
And then not that you're not clear with your expectations, but that's not the emphasis.
Right.
You're not having to reinforce that.
Right. And
instead you can focus on other things like being more reflective or dealing with intense situations. Right. Okay. I'm trying to think about, well, maybe like if I have a kid client and with the parents, I'm working on some parenting strategies, which I was going to ask you a question about. We'll do that later. But maybe I'm just getting them started with like being maybe an example. Like there's a lot of conflict at home. And maybe we can't resolve all the conflict immediately, but we start with as consistently as possible when there is conflict in the home. Once people are calm, that we're emphasizing they at some point come back to each other and connect again.
Perfect example.
And like have a hug.
Right.
Or say, I'm sorry, that was tough.
Right.
Or something like
something that kind of resets the tone of like where we're at now.
But the importance of really emphasizing that, doing that every time is the beginning of consistency. And it doesn't mean it fixes all of everything that's going on, but then maybe the next step would be to address volume and intensity of those conflicts. But starting with consistency.
Right. Starting with just being consistent, doing the one thing. And if you can do the one thing, then the change will be bigger down the road.
Yeah. I do, now that does make me think about some client questions I want to ask you that I'll save for once we finish our episode. But thanks today for listening today with Supervision with a Vision. We would love to hear about tricks that you have that help you to become more consistent.
You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.